Welcome to another video where I play a game that's essentially made for kids and somehow struggle on getting the trophies for it. This time I spent way too much time that I'm proud of on Sackboy A Big Adventure, which is basically just a reinvention on the Little Big Planet saga. But before we get into the video, leave a like, and if you're new here then click the subscribe button. If you don't, then you'll make Sackboy really sad. Anyway, back to the game, and to start things off, I picked up this game for three intentions. One, I thought I could feel some sort of nostalgia from my childhood when I used to play Little Big Planet with my mates. Two, I saw that Dawn French was in the game, and I love Dawn French. I mean, who doesn't? She's a national treasure. Three, I saw the age rating and thought, this is going to be an easy platinum. I was wrong. The game itself starts off with Crashworld being taken over by Vex, who's masterfully voiced by Richard E. Grant. And I was genuinely fascinated by this character of Vex and thought he was actually a decent enough villain.
This is so moving. The brave sapling, determined to save his dull little friends.
Nevertheless, it's up to Sackboy and any of the Sack friends that want to play as you to take up the task of going world to world and stopping Vex and the Uproar from completing their plans. Now, I'll complete the game by myself first time around, and then I'll replay some of the missions as well as the co-op missions with my sister. In hindsight, this was a bad idea because we both have the same kind of temperament for each other, which ended up most of the time with us just hitting each other across the levels out of frustration. Each world has about 10 levels each, and if I'm being truthful, I think this is one of the big negatives for me. Only because I feel like this game would have suited being a lot shorter, since after a while the levels feel like they drag on a little bit. Some levels feel like they didn't have to be there at all, really. Having said that, I did enjoy the majority of the levels for their imaginative nature and all-round fun designs. I absolutely love the levels where they'll play a well-known song in the background and the level kind of moves to the beat. It was these levels that I looked forward to the most simply because they stood out for being the most creative. Once you finish the main story, you unlock an extra world to complete. There's only 4 levels for you to do, but they're a lot tougher than previous ones. They're here just to test the skills that you've accumulated over the time of playing the game, and seeing if you've mastered the use of the gadgets available. But there is no greater challenge than the final Knitted Night trial. The Knitted Night trials are basically just time trials where you have a lot of time to reach the end, and depending on how fast you do it, the better the trophy you'll achieve. Each level is fairly simple to complete. I was even able to get gold on all of them, and that's only because my brain just wouldn't allow me to move on without all of them being gold. The best way to do it is just to keep rolling and to be confident with the routes you take. If you think you can make that jump, you probably can. But the final trial, the final trial, it's basically all the time trials you've done previously, but you have to do them all in one go and you only have one life. Now, there have only been a few gaming moments where I've truly felt like I can't win. Road to Nowhere, the Valkyrie Queen, moments in my gaming life where I've truly felt defeated. And the last Knitted Night trial joins those ranks as it stood over my defeated, worn out body with my thumbs that bled from mashing the circle button too much to roll, and it looked me dead in the eye and said,
I broke you.
But as the patient gamer I am, I retreated from the level, I slept on it and I came back, and I died over and over again. But then, it clicked. I made no fault, I won, and I ran straight to my dad and told him about my epic struggle I went through to beat this level, and at that point I realised I was looking at a man that really didn't care. Anyway, if I was going to give any advice, it would be just to keep trying. Try and roll as much as you can, and also the last section has a huge amount of clocks that will reduce your final time. So don't worry too much if you feel like you're taking too long around a certain area, because the last section will take a lot of time off. I would say that the final Knitted Night challenge is definitely the hardest trophy to do out of them all. For everyone else, for me the hardest part was still to come, for I had to ask my sister for her assistance to play the game and to knock off some of the multiplayer levels and trophies. At the start I looked her in the eye and said, listen, the trophy list asked me to get more points than you and to get more collectibles than you 20 times, so I need you to let me get the points when you see them, okay?
No, I don't think I will.
So then began the hardest 2 hours of my life as I had to genuinely fight for the right to be first place on every level. Levels that would only normally take 10 minutes would take double that time because there would be many intervals of us slapping each other because one of us wouldn't throw the other to the platform with the points on it. We got all the easy multiplayer trophies done straight off the bat, like dancing together, slapping each other at the same time, and high-fiving each other. It was after we beat the final boss battle together that she decided she didn't want to play with me anymore, and I still had to get more points and collectibles than her 10 more times. So I decided to keep her logged in and just repeat the first level till I did it. Luckily, if you go too far away from other players, the game picks you up and hovers you around them. About half an hour later I got the trophies, and I was wondering to myself why I just didn't do that in the first place. But after all that, there's still the case of collecting 300 costume pieces, which is definitely the most grindy part of the trophy collecting in this game. I found it's best to buy the cheaper items in the store rather than purchasing the more expensive items. See, I didn't do that to start with, so I just had to go through level after level collecting more collectibles, so I finally unlocked that last costume. Of course, you can also unlock costumes through playing levels, and I found it's good to go through the multiplayer levels just so you can pick up those costume pieces as well. There are a few other collectible type trophies, nothing in the same scale as the costume trophy, which I find in these hidden weapon things. They're worth picking up anyway as they're good for using against enemies since they have a bigger hit range. Also, you need to find out all of Gerald's hiding spots, which if you're taking the time to look for all the orbs like I was, then you'll most likely have no trouble finding all of his hidey holes. Everything else is all pretty standard stuff really. One of which is asking you to kill enemies in certain ways. As long as you keep mixing things up on the way that you take on enemies, then you'll be able to tick these ones off as you go. Overall, I had a fun time playing the majority of this game. I think the voice acting is a highlight for me, but I appreciate the evolution that the Little Big Planet franchise has taken and become. It's a game that you can play if you just want to take it easy and not have a game that takes itself too seriously. As far as the Platinum Trophy goes, it can be a bit frustrating. Not only is there a trophy that caused me more pain than I expected from a game that's rated Peggy 7, But it also has multiple trophies that can only be achieved if the other person you're playing with is really bad. Lucky for me that was the case, but it won't be for everyone. Also, the costume collecting was a massive slog. When I was around the 275 mark, it became painful trying to look for individual costume pieces and levels. With everything, it took me 27 hours to get the Platinum Trophy for Sackboy A Big Adventure. Anyway, have you got the Platinum Trophy yet? Are you going to? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Am I just seeing things, or is this totally a reference to the moon presence from Bloodborne?